Hi, guys.
Why so dramatic?
I'm sleepy, dude.
So in this podcast, I don't know if you put it in there.
I don't know if I did or not. I can't remember.
Obi slept in, didn't oversleep like to where he was late or anything, but enough to where you didn't go through your normal morning routine,
No,
and so you feel off sometimes.
I'll tell you what. I brushed my teeth and put on deodorant.
That was it?
Because to me, those were the essentials. Like when you break it down, those are two things that need to happen.
Well, that's most important for especially everyone around you.
Right.
Everything else can just be like, oh, he's a little disheveled.
Like no exercise, no shower, whatever. I did get here. I did have breakfast. And of course, I've been drinking coffee. The coffee is not working. Like maybe it is. It's propped me up this far.
You don't want to know what you would have been like without it.
Yeah, exactly that. So, hey, today, man, we just got all kinds of stuff going on, right?
Good stuff, right?
Yeah. So,
lots of good stuff.
Sherrod White's in the show today.
He's an artist on RadioU.
Yeah, and if you want to see Sherrod White, you can go ahead and take a look at it there on YouTube or on our Facebook page.
Both
so it was
at
there.
RadioU RIOT.
Let's see. What else do we do today? Oh, the plan, as of right now, is for me to be playing this afternoon around somewhere between 2 and 3 Eastern. I Love You, Colonel Sanders.
That's the KFC video game that's out through Steam today.
Yeah. Don't give me those judgy eyes, Chris.
Chris, it's not pleasant. I mean, KFC, like the Colonel, he's hot, he's young, and it's a dating simulator. Chris said it's ridiculous. Chris said that.
You know what?
He muttered it.
It's ridiculous, but we're playing it anyway.
But that's what's going to be right.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be Borderlands 3, and it's not. Now it's going to be this.
Why cover the game we paid $60 for when we can do the free advertisement?
For KFC.
Right.
It's a pleasure.
So other things in the podcast, we talk about the plaque in Nikki's heart.
And how can we fix it?
How can we fix it? We follow up with the WWE superstar.
Which I don't know. I feel worse about the story, but it's a weird update.
I feel like looking at it, I wish I could just rewind it and never talk. Never have talked about it.
Yeah,
never.
I agree.
We got a Walker Texas Ranger reboot, the Galaxy Fold. I'm working on a costume. Voter registration day.
Great.
So
Lots of quality, good stuff.
That ought to keep you busy for a while.
Well, let's go.
All right.
Let's go get a snack.
Coffee, just more coffee.
More coffee,
as
play
much as
some
I can
games.
find.
Let's have a good day.
All right. See you guys later.
Thanks for listening to the podcast today.
Bye.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
So, yesterday we told the story about a WWE superstar that went to Canada.
She was in Canada, got pulled over, did not like it, shared the video of it.
Yeah, and did you
called
see
Canada bad or something?
Yeah. And called that man you nasty.
Something like that.
So did you see what came out yesterday afternoon?
Did she get fired? Or?
No. She says it was all staged.
What do you mean?
It's not real. So she says the video was staged that she had actually partnered with.
Why? Why are we partnering with them?
To
that's not staging, that's lying.
Promote the
Canadian tourism?
Yeah. I guess.
The Canadian police?
Because
the WWE?
After what here's
I don't understand.
It apparently was something that was worked out with the Edmonton police and a few other somethings
to draw up like
attention
eyeballs or something, just watching the video.
Guess
you have to tell me more. I don't understand.
That's all I have here. Let me read to you. Here we go. She had to break character.
Oh, stop it.
So here's what we have. As prior law enforcement, now this is coming from
Lacey
Evans. No, Lacey Evans, the character.
Sure.
But now Lacey Evans, the person.
Okay.
As prior law enforcement myself and a United States Marine, I do not condone, agree with, or promote disrespecting or making law enforcement officers' jobs harder than they already are. Actually, I believe we watched you promote disrespect.
But moving aside, right. It's fine.
The video was created by both parties to promote the local live event taking place in the Edmonton area.
Oh, so like her wrestling persona was the bad one
getting in a fight with the cops.
Boy, they could have done a better job with that one.
As a sports entertainer, It's my job to not only entertain, but also set the proper example. So with that being said, I'm glad you all were entertained. But if you ever try to honestly disrespect or put my brothers and sisters in blue in harm, I hope you get what you ask for.
I don't know if that was correctly portrayed. I mean, I watched the video and I saw people's response. So I don't know if she played it up enough. You know, like she should have really been like the wrestler.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, because you
feels like a cover up.
Because you couldn't see her, it was hard to.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
You know,
like she should have been like, I don't know, like overacting.
Yeah,
like they do when they're. Well, let's be careful what we say about wrestling.
It's real to me, Nikki.
I know. As they put in the same emotion during the actual live events as she was when she was getting pulled over.
It's one.
It's very odd.
It is odd. And last night, I'll have to say, it just caught me in a place where I was just like, you know what? Just forget the whole internet. Just forget all of it. Like,
this is why.
Just forget all of it. I'm just done.
This is why you can't. We just can't believe anything. Doesn't make it very easy.
Right. It's like whether it's the WWE or the New York Times, it's all a lie.
All of it's totally lying to us.
So
if you were a fan of her and you were disappointed in her choices when she got pulled over, that wasn't her. That was her wrestling persona, and it was staged. It was worked out with the Edmonton police, so it wasn't really her. And really her says, don't do that if you do get pulled over. Don't.
But
do we all get that?
But fake her says you should.
But that was promoting the live event in that area.
Yeah.
All right? We got it all.
So that's two hers. I wonder what the third her thinks.
Well, at that point, that's too many personas. That's too many.
I don't know.
I gave during the last fundraiser, and all I got was this crappy morning show. This is The Riot on listener-supported Radio U.
Nikki, right here, I've got scientists at the University of Pittsburgh who did a study on 304 women.
I'm a woman.
Uh-huh. They're a girl, you're a girl.
I'm a girl, so okay? I should be listening to the study.
Women were asked how often they express anger, and then they took an ultrasound scan to figure out the level of plaque in their arteries. And here's what they found. That, Nikki, if you're not expressing your anger, I'll tell you what you're doing.
What's happening?
You're building up plaque in your arteries.
Oh, no.
So
that's not good.
You better get to expressing your anger. Not at me, but at everyone else.
Yeah, but what if, I don't really get angry in this room. Disappointed, but not like you're angry. What does that do? You need to find study.
What happens when you bury your disappointment?
Yeah, what happens with that? Was just like a tiniest bit of anger.
I don't know the answer to that. But I mean, I guess the question we should ask now is like, how often is that happening?
I mean, is it like every morning?
Is it every morning?
Like, what do you mean?
Is it just every once in a while?
No, it just pops up every so often.
A couple times an hour.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a surprise every time. It's a surprise.
Well, I've been disappointed in you, too.
I know. Well, we're not talking about your study. You're not a woman.
What about my plaque?
I want to talk about my plaque.
Okay. So, Nikki, you're just going to have to work on, not towards me, but towards everybody else, expressing your anger.
So does it say in this article, healthy ways to express our anger? Because I see, remember we're on those Reddit forums where public freakouts?
My gosh,
I see unhealthy ways of expressing anger.
And you and Eric are killing me with this Reddit stuff. Like,
Did you see the guy? Did he send you the belly button guy?
No.
This guy on this, it's not a public freakout one, but the guy sitting on like the subway and it looks British, so it's like the tube. And his buttons on his shirt are popping open a little bit. And his belly button shows on one and someone calls it the eye of Sauron. I'm going to send it to you.
Okay, I'll see it.
It's amazing.
No, I'm stuck on what could go wrong. What could possibly go wrong? That Fort Lake.
So we just need some better ways to deal with. If you do get angry, you know, how are we healthy with it?
Well, you know what, Nikki? I don't have any suggestions for you.
They didn't tell us any of that?
No, there's none here, but I'll tell you what. If you want to take a break and come back, I can find for you healthy ways to express your anger. That's what
I would like. And then I'll send you the belly button picture.
Okay. Both of those.
So we have work to do.
Here's an article on Psychology Today. 7 creative ways to express hot anger.
But how old is it? Because those things change all the time. It's 2018. Well, I guess that still works.
That's pretty good. All right. Okay. And here's 6 healthy ways, 5 healthy ways, 6 ways. We're up to like 30 ways.
What if they're all the same? It's all the same list of 5 and 6 of them.
They probably are.
All right, well, if you're angry and you're worried about plaque.
Dude, like, we have the answers.
If it's louder than it has to be and way worse than it has any right to be, it must be the worst of the riot on Radio U.
What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know about this one. Na-na. Woo!
Nikki's getting her anger out. She's dancing it out right now.
I bet that is a healthy way of getting rid of anger.
So, okay.
That's awful. It's great, but it's just, you know.
I like how bad it is.
So we have to keep it.
Probably.
Oh, no, come on.
Probably.
I have to not just mention it, and then that way it'll be like, oh, she likes it. Maybe we should get something else.
Not mention it. We both hate it. That's why we should keep it. See?
Woo!
Come on.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Well,
so we were talking about our real concern with Nikki's plaque. And not just her teeth. Those are filthy too. But
we're talking
about
your
in your heart.
in your heart.
Because as Nikki gets angry and she suppresses it, she's building up plaque in her heart. That's what the study says.
From was it Pittsburgh? University of Pittsburgh?
It sure was, I think.
We'll go with that.
I already closed that out. I'm on to the next thing.
Well, I told Obi it doesn't give you like any healthy ways to get rid of your anger if it's saying for me to not keep it in.
Mm-hmm. So, Nikki, according to Psychology Today, I have 7 ways for you to
get my anger out healthy.
In a healthy way. Number 1
was dancing to that song.
Actually, dancing was number 4.
Oh, it's down the list.
Yeah. Number 1 is hit a ball. Or they say go to a gym. Any kind of vigorous exercise where you're just like, ah!
So then I would have to go to the gym after the show?
Or, you know what, if all of a sudden in the middle of the show you start shadow boxing and doing jumping jacks,
Just don't question it.
You know what, don't ask any questions. She's dealing with her anger right now.
Or I just bring out a baseball and I just start tossing the ball. Or one of those medicine balls.
Number 2, write out your anger.
Oh, no, you don't want that. You don't want any evidence. You do not want any evidence.
Away after, though.
No, people can go through the trash.
Wow. Just to let you know, I just want to let you know, I'm not going through the trash.
You're not going to?
I often take our trash out, but I'm never out by the dumpster, like sorting through it.
What if it's like 200 pages and they're all just, crumpled up and stuff?
I might come and talk to you about
wastefulness.
Yeah, I might, maybe that. But number 3, how about this? Sing out your anger.
That's great for Radio U.
Mm-hmm. Number 4, dance out your anger on a staccato rhythm in the privacy of your home. Dance it out. That's
all right.
That is a direct quote from Psychology Today.
All right.
Let's see. Ways to get your anger out in a healthy way. Number 5, draw or paint your anger.
Yeah, we're going back to I don't want evidence and I don't want to waste paper.
Number 6, verbalize your anger using a Gestalt technique.
What?
Put a chair across from the chair you're sitting in. Imagine the person you're angry with sitting there and letting them hear everything. Yeah. And then they say, finally, once you've really processed your anger, then you can go and calmly talk to
the person who made you mad.
Yeah. It's actually really good advice because one of the things that you'll find is if you do any kind of reading on how to process and handle emotions, you begin to realize that emotional responses a lot of times are physical responses as well. And so when you're highly physically stimulated, you're in a position to do something you'll probably regret later. So you kind of deal with the physical stimulation and all that stuff, and then you're ready to
actually talk to the person.
Really talk about it. Because a lot of times when you're angry, especially like if you're angry with me, you realize that you really have the problem.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. And give me a ball. Give me a ball. Give me a ball.
Once you're able to get over it, and then I can help explain to you how it's actually your problem.
Fault. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We've all learned something special today. Thanks for sharing the list.
So if anybody
wants,
wants,
feels heavy.
A lot of plaque in here. A lot of plaque.
Something's wrong. I go go to the doctor, they're like, what is wrong? And I just say, here, will you sign up for our Worst of Riot podcast? Will you just take a listen?
You know what? You'll be angry too soon.
I know. You'll have problems too.
Hey, so what do you think of Obadiah?
The truth is, he's not a very nice person.
Okay, well, what about Nikki?
The very best there is.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Do you guys know that next Monday we start the RadioU Fall Fundraiser? Which is why, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I have been dancing out my anger a little bit, but I'm not mad. I'm not mad. But
But
when I see this, when I see the beer money guy on TV.
Here's an update on him,
Oh
but this is great.
It is great. But it's someone that's about to do a fundraiser. It's frustrating.
But he's changed it. It's not about the beer anymore.
I know. So here's where it goes. What was it, a week, maybe 2 weeks ago? College game day. We've got a guy holding a sign that says, I'm out of beer. Venmo me some beer money.
So people started doing that. And then the news on what he was doing, and then other people who maybe weren't even watching game day, they started giving money too.
Well, the thing is, when people are drinking and they're like, I'll give you money.
I'll give you some.
I'll buy you a beer.
So he eventually decided, since he'd made so much money.
Which was, he had made almost $225,000, which, just to let you know, would run Radio U for about 4 months.
So he basically then decided he kept enough money for a case of beer for himself, and then decided to donate the rest of the money for a local children's hospital.
Yeah, he did. And so
now he has even more money to donate, which is good.
Now he's raised about $1 million.
Yeah, it's a big jump.
That he's going to be donating to Children's Hospital. And again, that's awesome because, listen, people need it. I know several people, including myself. Both these surgeries that I've had on my crooked arms, I had at Children's Hospital when I was a kid. It's an awesome place, and et cetera, et cetera. But
seems like his has been the exception, because you talked about when he was raising money for beer, he got a lot of money, and normally that's when people start to give.
Right.
But if you go and start off in I would like to raise money for Children's Hospital,
he would have made $25 maybe.
It's harder to just start at the good deed.
Yep.
But I'm glad that he turned his into a really awesome opportunity.
Everything about it's great. But it also, again, as people that try to raise money for a nonprofit, I can tell you that I just stand back and I'm just like, come on.
A listener texted when we talked about it the first time, like, hey, we should just, treat it like, just buy Radio U a case of drinks. Just how much would that be?
Whatever it is that you drink, buy us a case of that.
There you go. And then maybe
Done.
That'll move on to getting Radio U fully funded.
Yeah, because, heck, man, even Mountain Dew these days, not the cheapest. So whatever you got. But yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's great that he's doing it. And I said it a week ago, and I still feel that way. If you suddenly handed me $225,000, I would absolutely give some of it away, but not all of it.
But
and not the majority of it. I'm just being honest.
I'm just surprised because at that point, when he was around $200,000, I figured it would start dying down. But now that he's basically at $1 million, he keeps raising money directly for Children's Hospital stuff.
Here's another thing that you got to know is when you're doing a fundraiser, do you know that people are more likely to support a fundraiser that's doing well? So success leads to success. So if your fundraiser is doing poorly, it will continue to do poorly. Great. If it's doing well, it will do even better.
Even better because people want to jump in on that.
It's crazy, man.
Look at this. This is Fundraising 101.
I know I'm learning so much right now.
From this guy with his sign.
Lesson 1, get on game day.
Get your sign ready.
Get my sign ready for game day.
A Rotten Tomatoes score so high, they refuse to make it public. The Riot on Radio U.
Hey, I got a friend of mine that is going to get married, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
We love weddings.
No! Had a real interesting talk with him, though. So, here he is about to get married, and all of the sudden, the stuff we're talking about, you're like, oh, you wouldn't talk about that before you get married. And no, I don't mean the talk. Okay. No. We were talking about basically he came out of an abusive home.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So, his dad was physically and verbally abusive. And so here he is about to get married, and he's like...
He's worried.
He's like, oh, my gosh, what if I get married and suddenly turn into my dad? Now, some people would just say, no, you just say, no, it's fine, whatever. But I actually think it's a great thing to take a minute, take some inventory, and look like, hey, what kind of baggage am I carrying into this relationship that I'm in, and what am I going to do about it? And, I'll tell you what I told him. The past that we have doesn't have to define us. But if a lot of times if we just pretend that the past didn't happen, it'll end up defining us anyway. Like pretending it didn't happen is not really what fixes what happened. The way you've got to do it is you got to face up to it. You've got to own it a little bit. Like in his case, he's got to own the fact that he was a victim of his dad's abuse too. You think like, oh, it's just your mom. No, it's you. It's left its mark on you, even though he physically never hurt you. And so you got to own that a little bit. You got to understand that, yeah, you're probably in a position to do that to somebody else if you're not careful. And for me, I'll tell you what I have just had to own up to is the fact that like, hey, you know what? I've got it inside me to do terrible things. I have it inside me to hurt people. Sometimes, and see the last hour, sometimes I unintentionally hurt people.
Sure.
That's something that happens. We all have that potential inside us. But what I have found is through a relationship with God, God has taught me a couple of things. One, how not to hurt people. Two, sometimes when I do, you just go back and apologize. Say, hey, you know what? I shouldn't have done that. I'm really sorry. And I get it. I'm not just talking about abuse here. Like it's not a matter of cyclical abuse. Like I'm not talking about that, but I'm just saying for you, as you're afraid that you're going to do the things that you've seen other people do or the things that have been done to you, it doesn't have to be that way. God can give you a fresh start. God can heal those old wounds. I'm not talking about running from them. I'm talking about healing them so that you can have real change in your life that is going to affect you when eventually you have kids. You're not going to pass on to your kids the things that you had to go through. And man, that's what real freedom looks like. That's what you can walk away from this and have a better life if you want it. And God wants to help you get it. If you don't have a relationship with him right now, just say, Jesus, I want that. I need healed from the stuff that's happened to me in my past. I need you to forgive me. And I want you to show me how to live. I don't want to pass on to other people the things that have been done to me. And you know what? You're not going to, and God is going to help you. So stop being afraid. Man, it's time to start living. We don't have to live in the shadow of whatever. We can get out from underneath that nonsense.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
How many times have you said to yourself, you know what? I need a Ranger. But you don't just need a Ranger.
The stars at night are big and bright.
Deep in the heart of Texas. You need a Texas Ranger.
So this used to be a TV show.
Walker.
Texas Ranger.
Starring Chuck Norris.
How long ago was that?
100 years.
And how long did it run for?
No, it ran from 1993
Oh, gosh.
till 2001.
Wow.
That means that right now, if you're bored, you could find 8 years
of this show?
Yeah, and it was on CBS, which means that they made like 24 episodes a season. There's almost 200 episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger out there for you to watch.
You can watch Chuck Norris.
So it wrapped up 18 years ago, and they're ready to bring it back.
So Chuck Norris was the guy that everybody always says, like, he cries tears and it heals, or like, isn't he the joke? Yeah,
he was
with all
that guy who's like, Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups, he does earth downs.
That's the sort of thing. So that was the guy.
That's that guy.
So CBS has announced that they're doing a new version of Walker, Texas Ranger, and it's going to be the one guy from Supernatural.
Yep, that's right. And you're like, which one?
The Jared guy.
Jared Padalecki.
Yeah, he's going to be Walker.
He's going to be Walker, Nikki.
He's going to be the Ranger.
So, you know what I didn't catch in this is, does that mean he's going to be on...
CBS then?
Is it on CBS or is it going to be on the CW?
That's actually a good question. And will it be on CBS or will it be on the CBS All Access?
So, here's what it is. CBS Studios is going to be producing that show, but that doesn't necessarily give it a guaranteed slot at CBS. So, someone will have to buy that show. So
no one's bought it yet. Everybody would like it to go to CW because he's been on Supernatural and he's a familiar face for the network. But CBS itself is also trying to bid for Walker, Texas Ranger because it's done reboots for Magnum P.I., MacGyver, and Hawaii Five-0. So it also would fit in there.
man, I'm just so excited about it.
Just can't contain yourself, can you?
Man, think about it. Walker, Texas Ranger being back. I wonder if they'll you know how sometimes when they do a reboot, like you'll get echoes of the original. Like, do you think he'll do a roundhouse kick like in that one episode?
Yeah, maybe.
Do you think he'll wear the hat?
So I think Supernatural ends, doesn't it? It's
Yeah,
the
it's
15th
wrapping up this
season,
year.
starts on October 10th, and that's it for the CW. Mm-hmm. You should totally have the Chuck Norris guy be the dad, though, in the Walker, Texas Ranger. Like, why not?
It writes
itself. It totally does.
It writes itself. Come on. You know what, Nikki? That's a great idea. I'm not watching it, but it's a great idea.
It's still a good idea.
He
He never knew he had the sun. The sun comes. He's now a ranger.
And he was a ranger. And they can help each other.
Wow. Not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on Radio U.
So our plans for later today, probably 2:30, 3 o'clock-ish Eastern. We're going to play the new KFC dating simulator game.
Did you guys forget that was today?
Who would want to miss that? So we'll be streaming.
It sells itself. I don't think we need to do much more than just tell them.
You know what? You're right.
Are you going to get a bucket of chicken?
Probably not.
No, to actually eat while you play?
I don't think so.
I think people would really like that.
I don't.
It's an eating show and a gaming show.
I don't think I want a bucket of chicken. But
Then you're not doing it right.
I agree with you. It's a great stunt. There's just no doubt about it. But
So the KFC game is out on Steam later today, and it is a dating simulator sort of.
yep.
Is it anime style?
Oh, yeah, totally.
And it's a young Colonel Sanders where you want to basically date him.
Is that what it is? Am I going to have to be trying to date Colonel Sanders? Because that's
awkward. I think it is because he's the hot Colonel Sanders. How can you meet him? Do you go on dates with him?
I guess we'll see, right?
So that is today. So if you want to make sure you don't miss out on this next Obadiah Plays today, that is going to be later through Radio U or Radio U Riot. You should be following and liking either of our Facebook pages.
It's getting weird.
Then it'll be weird later too. Yeah.
So I was going to play Borderlands 3 today. I don't know if I would say I don't know if anyone else is playing, but I know that a lot of you are playing because I keep hearing from you.
You're going to have to actually pause playing Borderlands 3 to watch Obi play this KFC game.
So, well, Nick, you second screen it.
Yeah, okay, that's true.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. But one of the things that's driving me a little crazy about Borderlands has been you go and, okay, in this one spot in the game, they have what they call the golden chest. Mm-hmm. And you acquire golden keys. And what it does is it gives you a really, 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 really good gun based on where you are in the game. And so right now, at least as far as I know, the only way to get golden keys is putting in what they call a shift code, which they're tweeting out. So there are a couple of different people and places that are tweeting them out.
You get the code, you put it in.
Right. But they're usually only good for a limited time. So overnight, they're like tweeting code after code. Like, this is good for 3 hours. This is good for 3 hours.
But you're sleeping.
Yes.
But other people are gaming. That's high game time.
Well, I guess.
But you're working.
I'm like, hey, could you guys put like a 6-hour code on that thing? Like, because I could get a couple of those. I'm awake then.
No, you need to maybe take a night and stay up and just sleep during the day.
I don't care
Do you
enough.
want the codes or not?
I don't.
Then what's the problem then?
It's fine.
You don't want the codes.
It's fine. I'm going to have to dance after you talk to me like that for a while.
They're giving you the codes. It's just not perfect for your lifestyle.
It's not.
But what can you do?
Well, you know what? They should probably just sell them. Wouldn't that be for the best? That way I could just...
Oh, you need a loot thing where it's a chance.
You know what we should do? Fiverr. I'll hire somebody to stay up at night and put the codes in for me.
Oh, you don't need to hire someone. I'm sure if you can ask a friend, someone who stays up later.
Oh, I don't have any of those. So Fiverr, just
Fiverr will do.
Hire somebody to do it. Get them keys.
And then let you know. Or it could be like, not a wake-up service in the morning for, time to go to work, but instead it's a wake-up service for code time.
Or, yeah, maybe that's what I need to do is I need to write some kind of like script that every time that a tweet comes out,
It calls
wakes
you
me
or
up,
wakes you up.
And that way I get up, I put the code in, and then I go back to sleep.
We're fixing this problem. You'll have this. I mean, you're going to have tons of stuff.
You just got to get creative. So maybe that'll be part of the dating simulator. I'll be like, listen, whoever I'm dating today, I'm going to need you to prove your love by calling me.
Which I never accept phone calls, but I need to wake up.
But no, don't call me. You just put the codes in for me.
You want to give your information that way?
No, I don't.
I think you're going to want them to wake you up.
Yeah, okay. That's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. You're fine. We're fine.
So at Borderlands 3, if you see a good code, then send it to Obi and let him know.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Maybe they'll be one during the daytime. I bet a lunch code comes out.
I just check Twitter constantly, ignoring my responsibilities, trying to make sure I get that golden key code.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
It is the Riot on RadioU. So, Nikki, I would like to introduce you. Have you ever met Sherrod White before?
Not in person, but many emails, so it's about time.
The bearded man himself joining the show. That beard is legit, dude.
I appreciate it. It took a lot of years to get it to this length,
It's nice. No, so wait, are you going to wait? Are we no shave November, or what is the upcoming thing?
Yeah, we've got a month.
Are you going to just going to keep growing it, or what are you going to do?
I'm just going to keep growing it. Every November. It's what's funny is I get on social media and no shave November goes. I'm like, hey, I do no shave
all the days,
every month. Every month of the year, so gonna keep it going in November.
Right on. So, dude, where are you
this is
now?
Sherrod White,
We're
by
talking
the way.
to Sherrod White.
New
And
song Epic is on RadioU.
You can actually see him right now if you want to join us live on Facebook or later on our YouTube channel. So, dude, are you in the home studio right now?
Yes, I am in my home studio here in Atlanta, Georgia. This is where all the greatness gets cooked up.
Right on, dude. So I noticed that you went with some panels on the wall. Do those seem to really help with the sound?
Oh, yeah. Like they're great sound. They don't cost a lot. Well, they cost, but not as much as, would in a professional studio, but you get all the professional quality. So it's really great.
If you see behind us, ours looks like little egg cartons.
Yeah, that's pretty much what that is.
That's our soundproofing. They're like, what walls are that? You're like, it's not really the walls. It's the soundproofing all over the walls.
Right. Hey, whatever works, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You got to do what you got to do.
So, Sherrod, talk to us about you, man. We got your song Epic. We're playing it. What have you been up to?
I've just been working. I've been kind of quiet, but working the last couple of years, just working on material. And so this year I started dropping singles, like the last 2 years, I've just been working on material, working with different producers, different collaborators. And so I was like, hey, I'm just going to start putting out material beginning of this year. So I dropped Legendary in January. Then I dropped another single package in April called I Don't Know. And then just in August, I just dropped Epic. And then next month, we're going to drop an EP. So I'm excited about that.
Okay. Well, hey, let me ask you this. You said that, for a couple of years, you were kind of working in the studio. You finally decided, what made you decide to kind of cross over and go from, hey, I'm just working on stuff to it's time to put this stuff out?
I think it was just I kind of hit a creative block.
Okay.
I kind of hit a block. And anybody that knows when you hit a creative block, it's either A, you're uninspired, or B, you've said everything you need to say in that season.
Yeah, I get that.
So I think it was a mix of both of those things where I was like, hey, I've been working on material for a while. Let's put it out now.
Okay.
And then I had people, friends, other artists of mine that I network with, like, hey, man, you need to put the stuff out. And so I just started putting it out.
So this is Sherrod White with the new song Epic. So for some, because now it's a little different for artists, they'll do a single and then, like you said, a month or two later do another single compared to when people were writing for an EP. And we know some hip hop artists who will write 40 or 50 songs while they're all doing studio stuff. Does that mean you're still writing a bunch at a time, or do you just take it one at a time?
I write a bunch of material. And so it could be, a lot of songs where it's like some of them aren't complete, some of them just ideas, and then you'll go back later, and then you'll finish them up, or I'll finish them up rather. I just kind of create. I used to kind of have the approach to say I'm going to sit down and make a project, and these songs are for the project. Now I just kind of create, and then I just go back and say, okay, these collections of songs are saying this thing. This would be great for a project here. Or this is just a single. It's the summertime. Hey, let's put this song out, And so now it's just a different approach now, as opposed to, how it was before.
Waiting longer. You just put it out.
So you're going to put out an EP next month, you said, right?
Yep.
Okay, so between now and the EP, you're working on the EP. But once you do the EP, what do you do after that? You're going to be booking some shows, or are you just back to the grind? Like, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to have a few shows booked. Essentially, what I'm doing right now is I'm just putting out content. Content is, as they say, king now. Yeah. And the more content you could put out and be consistent with that to get people engaged and things that you got going on is better. And so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna put out a couple EPs, and then we'll get until next year, and then we'll hit them with a brand new album.
All right. So
well, keep the beard going then, because maybe the power of the songs are in the beard. So you don't want to mess with that, just in case you're like, oh, he got the beard.
He shaved his beard off.
No.
His music's not any good.
No, you got to keep it going.
Exactly. My wife will not let me cut my beard.
That's good.
Wait, so
no worries there.
She likes the beard.
Oh, she loves it. Like, anytime I'll be like, hey, I think I need to trim it or cut it, she'll just like look at me crazy like, no, you're not going to do that.
She knows the power is in the beard, like we said.
It's there. The power is in the beard.
All right. You know what? I got no problem with that. I do. I mean, I don't have a beard, but I don't have a problem. I'm not threatened by men who have beards.
You have no issue with that.
It's fine. It's fine.
Right.
Well, Sherrod, it has been great to talk to you, dude. We're really enjoying Epic. So, man, you just keep doing in that studio and send us in that music, and we'll keep playing it.
I appreciate you guys' support. Thank you for all the years of support you guys have been playing my music, and especially with the new single, Epic. And we're going to keep it going. I'm going to keep getting you guys new material. So
that's good.
Once again, thank you.
You're awesome, welcome. Dude. Hang tight. We'll play Epic for everybody, which you can request if you'd like for the Most Wanted. It's been doing great there. So check out the Most Wanted weekdays with RadioU. And then, of course, through RadioU.com, you can request it anytime you want to.
Everything that I do is real epic.
Wait, now he's going to have to have on the next remix
That's
of
right,
the song
dude.
for
That's
it.
Right.
You have to bring in on it.
Hey.
That's what this song really needed.
Yeah,
it really needed Obi.
Right.
It didn't.
I got you, Obi. I got you.
It didn't. It's not good. That's not good.
It is good. It's just not everybody's approach. You know, not everybody likes it.
As I heard so many times throughout my career, which artist is this? Okay, then let's let them do the song.
Let's them shine. It's their time.
Let's let them do it.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on Radio U.
Remember that Sherrod White interview up now, riot.radiou.com, if you want to get in there, see what's happening.
Get it all set and saved to watch sometime later today.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to watch it on your new Samsung Galaxy Fold, you'll be able to do that starting this Friday.
So that's the one that came out, but then the Fold was the problem and had to go away. But now they said they fixed it and it's coming back out again.
Oh, yeah. We got it.
But it's a really expensive phone for it to possibly have the same issue.
$1,980.
Great.
Now, keep in mind, I just want to be clear, it is not a $2,000 phone.
No.
It is a $1,980 phone. And don't you forget it.
What about taxes?
Well, you know what? That's money's not going to Samsung. That goes to the government.
That's
different? You got a problem with the government. You don't have a problem with Samsung.
Because the government's making it $2,000.
They're the ones that are driving up prices.
They're taking too much.
They're taking too much.
I guess I just see when, it had a flaw. Well, it had more than a flaw. It had a really big problem that had it, get back out of the market. And then they go and say, oh, no, it's okay now. I have a hard time believing that problem won't pop up again during the life of you having the phone.
Maybe not, though, Nikki. Remember when Apple, they had to send those baby bumpers out to make the one phone work?
Baby bumpers.
You remember that?
I do now. But the baby bumper's a different problem than
when
don't fold your phone anymore because the folding's the issue.
When Steve Jobs went out there and was like, the phone's fine, you're holding it wrong.
You're doing it wrong.
Like, Steve? Buddy?
How'd you remember that one?
You know what, Nikki? When people make mistakes, I always
they
remember.
last. You can't seem to forget.
Well, it just, to me, it's one of those things that sticks out in the phone market because most of the time, if there's a phone problem, people are like, "What? There's no problem.
No, I don't have an issue.
There's no issue."
This is not a small issue, though. This, again, is a...
Oh, I see. Apple has a problem. It's a small issue.
Yeah.
It's just a little thing.
It's a big thing. This is a folding thing.
I don't want it. I don't want this phone. I mean, maybe it's neat. I don't know. Maybe we get it. Maybe we get it in our hands and be like, "This is kind of cool."
I actually liked it when it was unfolded, but I didn't like how it looked when it was folded up.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Then, that means you'd be folding and unfolding all the time.
Which would lead to what?
It breaking.
It breaking, because that's just how that's going to go.
It is funny.
But if anybody gets it, let us know if you actually like it.
Anytime I see something with a hinge, outside of a laptop, I've grown to respect the hinge on a laptop. But I can tell you, it's been a long time ago, but I had a laptop whose hinge broke, and I mean, it broke bad.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, it's got a 2-year warranty." And I was like, that's weird, because at the 25-month mark, all of a sudden, this thing broke to pieces.
That's because they've only tested it up to 2 years. Like, that's all it can handle. Or kind of like the laptops that flip into a tablet.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, why is that the part that breaks first? Because that's the part you're using all the time.
It's the thing that you're doing all the time. So,
oh, well. So Friday, it's back out?
Yeah. $1,980, which is approximately twice the price of my laptop. What? What? Holy crap, man.
And you're taking their word that it'll be just fine.
And again, I don't want to be that guy, but you realize you could go buy the most expensive tablet you could find and a cheap phone, and you're still at less than half price with all the functionality.
You could buy a reasonably, not even just cheap, but a nicely priced phone and a nice tablet.
Man.
And then you could go to lunch and you could have like extra for dinner.
Thanks, Bill. Bill says doors have hinges. Okay, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, you're fine. It's not a screen, though. The door's not a screen.
Hey, listen, I remember the first generation DS. I saw those cracked hinges. I know what can happen.
Just be aware and be prepared and be safe with it.
And let's get back to that part where we go out for a really nice dinner.
Yeah, you want that?
That sounds good.
Because we have money.
Yeah! You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Hey, Nikki, do you have a ruler over there?
I do not, but I mean, use your finger. No, like inch.
Inch. Okay, so
your
1,
inch
2,
is
3,
with the part of the finger.
4. That's not helping. All right, let me try.
What are you trying to measure?
4 inches. 1, 2, 3. But that's like 6 inches, right? That piece of paper?
On the piece of paper, it is 1. Okay, hang on.
See? It's not that easy.
2, 3. That is 4 inches.
That paper is right there?
That is 4 inches. Why are you trying to figure it out?
Well, here's what I'm trying to figure out, Nikki. You know, we are talking about and have scheduled, which of course doesn't mean there's any follow through at all, but we have talked about and scheduled.
Have good intentions.
To do a, what do you call that?
Riot Live event?
That.
Yeah, we're doing one around Halloween.
Yeah, we are. And so I am looking at a Gizmonics Institute patch because I'm getting an MST3K costume together.
Now, don't talk like that because they don't know. That means a Mystery Science Theater 3000 Halloween costume.
That's right.
You're going to be one of the characters from that show.
Yeah, just one of the humans.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got to buy a patch. And what else do you need for the costume?
I will need some sort of a coverall. Just basically what they like a
overalls sort of thing,
like not overalls, like a coverall. Like if you went to see a mechanic,
yeah,
and how
like
they would have like a big blue one piece.
Oh, and then the zip up,
yeah, something like that.
You can buy that,
and then I would you attach the patch to that, and then I'll probably get a patch for like the arm or something like that. And
that's Halloween this year.
Yeah,
that's gonna be it.
It's going to be awesome.
I bet it is.
So the only thing that I have to answer is what color of a like a coverall do I want to get? And I think I'm going to go with a dark blue because darker colors are more slimming.
Yeah, but does the character wear a particular color every time?
It depends. Like you'll see them in different colors.
So then you could change it up.
Yeah, so
go with blue then.
I could go with a different color. It wouldn't matter. So that's the idea.
Kyle's excited. We do know MST3K is awesome.
Well, yeah.
Thanks, Kyle, for texting to make Obi feel better.
Oh, no, I felt really good to start with.
You did? Well, actually, you're excited about this Halloween costume, so I think that's great.
Yeah, I'm going to the MST3K live show in 2 weeks.
Are you going to dress up and wear the outfit?
A lot of people did. I don't think I'm going to do that.
Why? Use your Halloween costume. Is that too much?
I don't know. But I do love the idea of having one.
Sure.
And so...
They can wear it at Halloween for our party.
I mean, you know what? Okay. Comes down to this. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. When I was at this live event,
the live show that they're doing,
it was. I assumed they were a husband or a wife, but like they were together and they were both wearing these matching costumes. And here's what I feel like. I feel like on some level, if you show up somewhere dressed super nerdy, but it's like a complimentary thing with a girl.
It's called a couple's outfit.
It is. And as a man, on a certain level, you are still managing to project masculinity because what you're saying is, listen, I might be dressed like an idiot, but I have acquired a life partner. So therefore, something about me is working. I show up at something wearing this
by yourself,
and all of a sudden they're like, "Look at how lonely that poor man is."
Why? Well, they'd probably be thinking, "Well, look how great of a fan he is. He must love Mystery Science Theater."
Yeah, I often wonder too when I go to events like that. It's like, hey, we're all out of our parents' basement. Is this where we come to meet people? Is that what this is?
Maybe you have it wrong. They're thinking that about you even without the costume. They're just like, who's this?
Nikki, do you remember earlier in the show we were talking about dealing with anger?
Yeah, never mind. Hey, I'm sorry that I said that.
I'm not sorry. It was a good one.
Well, get your Halloween costume. It'll be good.
Well, I mean, the good thing about this is, a lot of times you'll be like, why didn't you put any effort into this? And
what were you last Halloween? I forget. Did we just redo Mario or were we someone else?
I don't remember.
Did we do one last year?
We archived the stream.
We'll have to find it.
We'll see.
So coming up for this Halloween, we are doing a Riot Live event where we host a special evening show on Facebook that you can watch and hang out with us. And we are dressing up. We're doing costumes, and we should be doing something else with it. Food fights and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, and people and stuff. And I think we're playing the bee game, right?
We're going to play a game.
And you're going to be dressed
up as a bee.
Okay.
So... wow, when you hear it, it sounds bad.
In case you're wondering, yes, we do get complaints.
They have gone too far. This time, they are going to be held accountable.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
I wish you guys could have been here 2 minutes ago.
You miss the best stuff off air. Just in the studio.
Nikki is over there playing the Untitled Goose Game.
Hey, for you guys for the show. Wait. Can you hear the goose?
So can you make that sound as many times as you want?
You can't. You just it's the Y button.
Yeah. As in, why don't you say some more?
So why are you pushing it? Why are you playing the goose game? It's this viral, I like to think that it's a viral sensation, but it's not really. It's just a very popular game that came out over the weekend called the Untitled Goose Game.
Hey, look, if it makes you feel better.
It does. Oh my gosh, it's so cute in a really fun way. It just has a really great look to it, style-wise.
If you want to, you can call it viral. It's fine.
It's not like a viral, when a video goes viral, but just everyone's been waiting for this video game. Mm-hmm. So people were excited. So
you're liking it?
I am enjoying it.
So
I did say a second ago in my mind, I'm like, what's the point of this? But I haven't gotten into the gameplay. You're just walking around learning things.
Why would I?
Why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm. So, all right. Well,
it's on sale. It was fine. They made it better.
I feel like somebody in this room is trying to justify themselves.
Nope.
Are you sure?
We're just enjoying the game. Obi's doing an Obadiah Plays later today. KFC, should you do a check to see if it's up yet?
I will. While
KFC is doing a dating simulator game with the Colonel Sanders, where he's like this hot young guy. And the game it's a real one, but you can only play it through Steam. So if it's out by this afternoon, he's going to do an Obadiah Plays where you can play along and watch with him. And if not, it'll be Borderlands 3.
I love you, Colonel Sanders. It looks like it's up.
It is.
Nikki, if it makes you feel any better, it looks like it plays on Mac.
Well.
But wait.
I got the Goose Game. I don't have enough time for another game.
That's true. And remember what you told us all about Steam and how you're
what did I tell you about Steam? I didn't say anything bad about it. Steam is fine. I just don't need it. Oh, wait, I did. Wait, what game was it?
Excuse me?
I bought a game on Steam.
Eric
I've never
bought
played
you
it.
I Learned Japanese or whatever the heck it is. And you were like, and you told him, and I quote, I don't want to be one of those people.
I don't want any more. I don't want any more things. And so I didn't want to join Steam. I didn't want to do anything on it.
She said she didn't want to be one of
those people where you're using Steam. I didn't want it. But now that the Colonel Sanders game is on there, maybe I will go back to doing it.
But you're willing, for Colonel Sanders, you're willing to cross those lines.
And then I can finally play the How to Learn Japanese game that I apparently own somewhere.
Yep, that's right. All right, well, I'm going to remote desktop home and make sure I've got it all downloaded.
You download it.
And
So
I'm
this
ready to go.
afternoon, you can watch Obi play that game.
You can watch me try to date Colonel Sanders. I don't like saying it out loud.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Don't know if you've checked the hashtag Vote Ready. But Nikki,
Yes?
in this great republic, we elect representatives that go to Washington and carry out the will of the people.
Is that what happens?
Theoretically, sure, but we all know that it's special interests that actually get things done. When they give large sums of money to campaigns.
Oh, yes, campaigns.
In which politicians tell us what we want to hear, and then when they get to Washington,
They do the opposite.
forget what they hold dear. Because that's the way the game
their hands
works.
are tied there, okay? And they have to work towards other things in order to get what we then were promised.
Yeah, so you know what? Don't worry about us, the little people. It's fine. We'll buy you lies, and then special interests will buy you votes. It's perfect. The system isn't broken.
It's fine.
Well, speaking of the system, Nikki, today is National Voter Registration Day. And so it is exactly what it sounds like.
Oh, they should have picked the same day that all these games are coming out. Like, everyone's so busy. I mean, it needs to be
You know
really
what?
a quiet
you
day,
guys
doesn't
can't
it?
see me Picard face palming here, but the reality of it is she's not wrong.
I mean, Borderlands 3 is still so new.
So I will tell you, nationalvoterregistrationday.org is where you can go to register to vote if you want to.
Which, if you want to vote, you need to be registered to vote.
So, you know what this reminds me of? I got to tell you, this is a true story. I have a friend of mine that for a while, like, he was very unhappy with who the current president was. Not our president now. He hates him too, but whatever. But like whoever was the current president.
He's consistently hating every person.
So he texted me there for a while. It was like daily with what he was really angry about when it came to the president. And I was just like, I don't understand why you're telling me. But he did that and did that and did that. And then when it's time to vote that guy out of office, he didn't go to the polls because it was raining. That's the truth. Okay, that's exactly that. This is the same guy who I saw over the weekend harassing someone on Twitter.
Yeah.
Over and over again. This was about a video game. He was like, he's been harassing him and harassing him.
Creator of it.
Yeah, and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to this. I'm not going to that, whatever. He then bought that video game despite all of the things that he said.
So he has a problem. That's not even a problem with follow through. Like, that's just.
I asked him about it, and he said he likes to make his voice heard.
But that's not making a change, though, if you don't act on what you want to be heard.
I want to be heard, but I don't want to go to the polls.
And I don't want to go in the rain.
And listen, I'm really mad, but I'm going to buy your game anyway.
So if you don't like how certain things are, either side of the field, you need to decide if you then want to actually go out and do something.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about actually going and doing something, but I can tell you that you can register to vote from the comfort of your own whatever.
Oh, they're making it easier.
They're making it easier and easier. And believe me, before we're dead, you guys will be clicking online to vote. And if you think voter fraud's a problem now, you haven't seen anything yet. Boy, I'm not doing a great job of selling National Voter Registration Day.
You're not. I mean, we seem jaded and angry and all that.
Yeah. So voters then.
Well, yeah, but you just don't act on it.
Yeah.
You don't do anything.
You can register now, nationalvoterregistrationday.org. That's a place where you can register to vote. Because, there's elections coming up, guys. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then you can play or watch Obi play later the KFC Colonel Sanders dating simulator game.
I love you, Colonel Sanders. Isn't that what it's called? All right.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
Wow, when you hear it, it sounds bad.